Welcome to another episode of Undercard Heroes. My name is Francisco.
And I'm Heather.
And today we're going to talk about UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. We'll give you our picks for that fight card, and we'll let you know how we've been doing so far with our other picks. Ready?
Let's get into it.
So far we're still up 228.02. The last fight card, Blanchfield-Barber fight, that hurt us a little bit, not getting that in the parlay. Ludovic Klein losing, but we're still up 228.02. For this fight card, we're going with 5 picks: Waldo Cortes-Acosta, Patchy Mix, Khaos Williams, Kevin Holland, and Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, of course, being the huge underdog in this one at plus 230. Now, not a lot of value on this card. This one was a little bit tough. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-pick round robin. So any combination of 3 on this one will win.
I'm new to the UFC, so Francisco is going to explain his picks, and I'll jump in with some of my questions and thoughts.
First fight that I want to talk about is Khaos Williams versus Andres Gustafsson. Now, I think this is going to be the first of the really fun fights for this card. Both guys have knockout power. One of them is going to get knocked out in this fight. This is Andres Gustafsson's first fight in the UFC. He's coming off of a knockout win on the Contender Series. He's had multiple fights that have fallen through in the past. Same thing with Khaos Williams. He had, 2 prior opponents that both canceled before he ended up with Gustafsson. And funny thing about Khaos Williams is since joining the UFC, he's gone on 2-fight win streak, 1 loss, 2-fight win streak, 1 loss, 2-fight, 1 loss, and so
it's so funny.
So he's coming off of a loss, which if the pattern continues, he should have 2 wins coming up here. So, but I just think that Khaos Williams, I think that he's gonna be the harder puncher here. I think he's gonna connect first, and ultimately, I think that he gets the win here. Most likely by knockout. I would say this one definitely doesn't go to decision.
And with a name like Khaos, I mean, it's got to be a good fight.
Next fight I want to talk about is Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. This has the potential to be a really rough night for Waldo Cortes-Acosta if Sergey Spivak can get him to the ground. We saw the one loss that Waldo Cortes-Acosta have come from Marco de Lima's ground game. He was able to impose his ground game, get him on the ground, really control the fight from there. Ultimately, he lost Waldo Cortes-Acosta by decision to de Lima. And, since then, we haven't really seen him tested by grapple-heavy fighters, someone who's got a good submission game. And that's exactly what Sergey Spivak is. He's gonna try and get this to the ground. He's gonna try and wrestle him down, get a submission. But ultimately, I think Waldo Cortes-Acosta is on a 4-fight win streak here. I think he's got the momentum behind him. He definitely has enough punching power to knock out Sergey Spivak. We saw in Spivak's fight against Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida, he was getting crushed by Spivak on the ground. It really looked like Spivak was going to dominate that fight, and then Jailton Almeida landed a good punch on him, and Spivak folded. And so I think that Waldo Cortes-Acosta can do the same thing, and I'm picking him to win this fight. And if he wins, I'm going to say he's got a good chance of winning this by knockout. If Spivak wins, probably going to be by submission.
So interesting. I would have thought that someone who has an 8-inch longer reach would have wanted to stay on his feet and have that striking. So that's really interesting that grappling is his thing.
Yep, this is a striker versus a grappler, and Spivak is definitely the grappler in this one. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. This is the second of the fun fights. In my opinion, the fun fights on this card. I think that both of these guys are going to go to war here. They're going to grind this out. They're going to try and knock each other out, maybe try and get a submission. Either way, they're both going to look for a finish. Ultimately, I'm going to give it to Kevin Holland, though. I think Kevin Holland can be a little bit inconsistent. He seems to sort of just, take fights whenever. And he can be kind of all over the place, but same thing for Vicente Luque. But I think ultimately Kevin Holland is going to get the win here. I think that His striking is just a little bit crisper. I think he punches a little harder. He's a taller fighter. He's lankier. I think he's just going to bring that punching power to Vicente Luque. And even if it does go to the ground, I think that, Kevin Holland could even lock up a submission over Vicente Luque. So I'm going to go ahead and call Kevin Holland for this one.
Exciting. This sounds good.
Next fight, Mario Batista versus Patchy Mix. This one, I think, is going to be a really interesting fight, too. Patchy Mix, this is his first fight in the UFC, coming over from Bellator. He's a former Bellator champion, fantastic submission specialist. He's even mixing in some striking a little bit better now, but really known for his submission game. And you know that he's going to want to make a statement here, joining the UFC. He's going to want to get a finish over Mario Batista. He's going to look for that submission. And ultimately, I think that he gets it. I think Patchy Mix is going to win this fight. Mario Batista, he gets a ton of hate. A lot of people don't like the way he performed against Jose Aldo, me included. I think it was, he really tried to sort of just hold him against the fence, control him, ultimately got the decision win on that one. And there's just a feeling, too. There's, when you look at the press conference between the two of them, you look at the weigh-ins, you see how the audience reacted to Patchy Mix versus how they reacted to Mario Batista. I think that really affects a fighter. And so you look at Mario Batista, and it almost looks like he lost the fight before it even started.
Wow.
And so I'm going with Patchy Mix on this one. I think that, he's going to try and make a statement win here, and see if he can propel himself into title contention.
And how does being a Bellator champ compare to like the UFC? Does he have to do a lot different coming from Bellator, or is it really similar?
Well, the UFC has the best fighters on the roster. All of the best fighters are in the UFC. So, I mean, the level of competition is definitely going to be different. And so, but Patchy Mix is just, phenomenal fighter. And so I think that he's going to really try and come in, get a statement win here.
Cool. That'll be fun to watch.
On to the main event of UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. I know a lot of you probably are going to think that I'm going to side with Merab on this one. I think Merab, fantastic fighter, really destroyed Sean O'Malley in the last fight. I think, some people point to, Sean O'Malley had some great moments in that fight. Sure, I think he had a couple of good moments, but for the most part, Merab dominated him that fight. And so, what you heard coming out after that was, Sean O'Malley had all these reasons for why he didn't do well. There was problems with his hip, he needed hip surgery, maybe the lights of the sphere kind of messed with him a little bit. All that said, I am actually going with Sean O'Malley on this one.
Oh.
I think, this one, he's a huge underdog in this. I think he's minus 250, 235, somewhere around there. But I think that he pulls it off. I want him to pull it off. Merab is a monster. The dude's a machine. I think if he wins this, he's going to go on to probably defend this title multiple times. But I'm pulling for Sean O'Malley to get the win here. I really think, this is more maybe my heart saying that I want Sean O'Malley to win. But we'll see what happens. If he really is, way better than he was last time, he can defend those takedowns better. He can withstand the cardio that Merab has, and he lands a punch. He could easily knock out Merab, and I think Merab knows that too. Merab knows that Sean O'Malley has that power. Merab, his biggest weapon here is his cardio. The fact that he can just put the pressure for all 5 rounds and never get tired. That's really his superpower in this. And so if Sean O'Malley can figure out how to combat that, really put on his own pressure, really get his offense going, I think that he can find some openings and steal the win here.
Well, let's hope your heart wins in this one.
Thanks everyone for watching another episode of Undercard Heroes.
What do you think about Francisco's picks? Do you agree with him? Is there anything that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks everyone.